January 2017, Los Angeles, the city known as the Land of Dreams, turned into a terrifying nightmare for one family that day. A 16-year-old girl returned home to find her father's lifeless body on a chair beside the pool, soaked in blood. He had been stabbed to death. The victim was Fabio Sementilli, a 49-year-old renowned hairstylist with a list of prestigious clients. He lived with his wife Monica, his partner for over 20 years, in one of Hollywood's most upscale suburbs. Their luxurious home, complete with a pool and a Porsche, seemed like a scene from a refined film, far removed from violence. Yet, violence had crept into their lives silently, leaving them with no choice. That evening, two masked strangers were seen fleeing the scene of the crime, amid a wave of burglaries in the area. With Fabio's car missing, it initially seemed like a robbery gone wrong, a tragedy born of theft. But that was only the beginning of a much darker, more complex story. A long investigation and high-profile trial would eventually uncover shocking secrets, encrypted messages, an adult film actor, and a powerful motive called greed. Fabio and Monica lived in Woodland Hills, an affluent suburb of Los Angeles, known for its wealth and elite residents, a lifestyle that matched Fabio's glamorous world of hairstyling. Known as Big Daddy among many professionals he mentored, Fabio built a successful career. Born in Toronto, Canada, he attended De La Salle High School but dropped out a year before graduation, already set on becoming a hairstylist at 17. He grew up in a hard-working Italian immigrant family and followed in their footsteps, earning a hairstyling certification in 1987 while still young. He launched his first salon with his sister in their family basement and remained grateful to her all his life. By 2015, in an interview with American Salon magazine, Fabio emphasized the importance of family, saying it was the real fuel behind his success. He had won prestigious awards, owned his own salon, and even worked on major Hollywood film projects. In 2007, he became the creative director of Wella Canada, and by 2010, he led the company's North America division, managing hundreds of employees and studios across New York, Los Angeles, and Toronto. Despite his success, Fabio was known for his kindness, humility, and support of young talent, his true legacy. But he never imagined his end would come so soon. On January 3, 2017, Fabio was 49 years old. Monica was out, and they had 2 daughters, plus a son from a previous relationship. Their younger daughter, Isabella, 16, came home to witness the worst moment of her life. After school, she had gone to a job interview at a local Italian restaurant, inspired by her father's humble beginnings. Her mother had asked her to pick up her glasses from home before returning, which delayed her a bit, a delay that, in hindsight, wouldn't have changed anything. At around 4:15 p.m., she noticed her father's Porsche was missing, which raised suspicion. Then she found the horror: her father, dead by the pool. Despite her fear, she managed to call 911. During the call, Monica arrived from the backyard and joined her in trying to save Fabio, but it was too late. Paramedics arrived shortly after 5 p.m. and declared him dead at the scene. Fabio had multiple stab wounds to his face, neck, and body, indicating a violent and targeted attack. Initially, the incident was thought to be a failed robbery, which seemed plausible for a wealthy family like the Sementillis, especially during a 2017 burglary wave by a duo known as the Knock Knock Burglars. Surveillance footage from a neighbor showed 2 masked men running toward the house. The Sementilli home had a sophisticated security system, so investigators expected it would help identify the killers. But the hard drive that stored all recordings was missing, deliberately stolen. With almost no physical evidence, police turned to interrogate Monica, who said her day with Fabio had been normal. She claimed to have left the house at around 3:30 p.m. to shop at Target, leaving him alive. She returned about 1 hour and 20 minutes later to find her life turned upside down. Had she narrowly escaped the same fate? Or was there something deeper at play? Many families have life insurance policies, which isn't suspicious by itself. But it's often considered a potential motive in homicide cases. When asked if Fabio had such a policy, Monica denied it. Meanwhile, police observed strange behaviors from her during the investigation. While people react to trauma in varied ways, Monica's behavior was particularly noteworthy. Surveillance footage showed her car leaving home in the afternoon, as she said. Her daughter Jessica also left at 3:47 p.m. for a babysitting job that Monica had arranged. At 4:53 p.m., just after the murder, Fabio's Porsche was seen leaving the house, clearly not driven by him. Just a minute later, Isabella arrived home. By 5:03 p.m., Monica was back too. The timing was suspicious. How could a stranger know the house would be almost empty at that exact time, in broad daylight? And how did all family members return within minutes of the crime? Another detail that weakened the robbery theory. Fabio was still wearing his $8,000 Rolex watch when found. What kind of thief steals a luxury car and security system hard drive, but leaves a valuable watch? Investigators were convinced the case involved more than just theft. They scoured the crime scene, and soon found a crucial clue, a bloodstain that didn't match Fabio or his family. DNA analysis revealed it belonged to a man named Robert Baker, 54, a racquetball coach at a nearby gym. Born in Germany and raised in the U.S., Baker had a prior criminal record, including a 1993 conviction for inappropriate conduct with his stepdaughter. He had served in the U.S. military but was discharged after his conviction. After his release, he worked as a personal trainer for wealthy clients in Los Angeles, including some celebrities. To make ends meet, he occasionally appeared in adult films. If Baker was involved in Fabio's murder, money seemed like a clear motive. He knew the family, they were regulars at the gym, and even attended Fabio's memorial 6 days after the murder. Photos showed him wearing a bandage on his finger, possibly the source of the blood found at the scene. Police began monitoring Baker as a prime suspect. In February, investigators questioned Monica again about possible visitors, including Baker. She said she barely knew him and couldn't remember his full name, denying any reason for his DNA to be in the home. Yet suspicions about his role grew. Meanwhile, Monica remained on edge, frequently calling the police department to ask for updates. She also inquired about when Fabio's life insurance would be paid, despite previously denying its existence. Her story seemed increasingly inconsistent. On the night Fabio died, she called his son from a previous marriage, Luigi, to inform him of the news. Luigi spoke to a neighbor, Deborah, who had witnessed Monica that night and said she seemed focused on money from the start. When Monica later spoke to Luigi directly, she told him he would benefit financially from his father's death, shocking him during a moment of intense grief. Money wasn't on Luigi's mind, but it seemed to be Monica's main concern, even before Fabio's death. Not long ago, Fabio's 50th birthday was approaching, and Monica had planned a celebratory golf trip for them and their friends. But the trip never took place, of course, after his murder. Monica had already paid for the trip, expecting their friends to reimburse their share later. However, she never asked them for anything afterward. Perhaps she intended to keep the money. When Luigi arrived from Canada to handle the arrangements, Monica showed him the life insurance documents. At this point, the story began to split in two directions. On one side, there was Robert Baker, the mysterious man linked to the crime scene through DNA evidence, who had only a superficial connection to the family. On the other, Monica, who had suddenly lost her husband and inherited a vast fortune. She had the motive, while Robert had the opportunity. The remaining mystery was what brought the two together. Monica, born in October 1972 and originally from Toronto, met Fabio in 1997 at the salon he managed with his sister. She had come in as a regular customer seeking beauty services, but soon became more than just that. Fabio had ended his first marriage in 1995, and after 2 years of being single, he saw in Monica a chance for a fresh, passionate start. She, in turn, saw a promising future with him. He was advancing quickly in his career and heading toward fame, and she fell in love, not only with him but with the lifestyle that seemed inevitable. In 2011, they decided to move from Toronto to Los Angeles with their daughters. Monica worked a few part-time jobs but mainly dedicated herself to managing the family's finances and scheduling. They had a maid, gardeners, and a pool maintenance man. Their life was exceptionally luxurious, and Monica relished every bit of it, from traveling to lavish destinations, often part of Fabio's work perks, to enjoying the many benefits he provided his family. Monica didn't contribute to these perks beyond simply accompanying him, but who would say no to such a lifestyle? Still, as the saying goes, money doesn't buy happiness. Monica began to feel increasingly dissatisfied with life alongside Fabio, despite all the comfort around her. In 2015, Monica joined the racquetball league at LA Fitness in Canoga Park. She wanted to improve her fitness and meet new people. She hired a personal trainer named Matt Nurse, but he wasn't just a trainer in her eyes. She began downloading his photos from social media and later invited him for a drink. Matt rejected her, but she confessed her feelings nonetheless. When her attempts with Matt failed, she shifted her attention to other men at the club, specifically Robert Baker. In December 2015, she contacted him requesting racquetball lessons. From the beginning, her email was clearly flirtatious. They met to schedule the first lesson, and she got his personal number. That first lesson marked the start. They quickly entered into a romantic relationship. Contrary to what Monica later told police, she brought Robert into the Sementilli home. On one occasion, her daughter Jessica, then 17, saw him there. Although the house was spacious and offered many places to sleep, Robert chose to sleep in Monica's bed. It's hard to believe it was a casual affair. In fact, it was intense and passionate. Between January 2016 and January 2017, Monica made over 9,000 calls to Robert, and he called her over 17,000 times. It was not a fling, it was a burning obsession. And although Fabio traveled frequently for work, Monica was still his wife. Her marriage had become a burden. Robert later admitted as much. They used Viber, a secure app, to hide their communication. But was it just the affair they were trying to hide, or something darker? Robert denied Monica had any involvement in Fabio's murder. Still, he said, "Did she tell you she'd divorce her husband for you?" "We touched on it lightly, but I could tell that she wasn't going to do that. That wasn't happening." He claimed it was a story of infidelity laced with jealousy, and that Monica had fallen in love with a dangerous man, and Fabio became the victim. But the story didn't end there. Another man played a central role in the murder: Christopher Austin. Chris grew up with Robert in North Carolina, and the two remained close even after parting ways. Chris settled in Alaska while Robert stayed in Los Angeles. When Robert needed a partner for the crime, he didn't hesitate to choose Chris. Robert bought Chris a plane ticket from Alaska, and in early January, picked him up from the airport and hosted him. That same night, he handed him a knife. All that was left was to wait for the right moment. Robert claimed he didn't ask Monica directly about Fabio's whereabouts or how to get into the gated community. He said he inferred everything from her messages. She told him Fabio had gone out to get food, so Robert dropped Chris off nearby, expecting him to carry out the killing. But something changed. Robert realized he couldn't leave the murder to someone else. He wanted to do it himself. He assigned Chris to be the lookout so that Chris wouldn't later testify against him. The next opportunity came on January 3rd. That day, Robert met Monica to play racquetball, something she never mentioned to police later. Robert said he casually asked her about Fabio's schedule, and from her answer, learned Fabio would be home alone, with no protection, no witnesses. Robert and Chris parked about a mile from the house, wore hooded caps to avoid being seen on camera, and each carried a knife. Chris stayed outside, guarding the perimeter, while Robert entered the house searching for Fabio. He found him in the backyard near the pool. Fabio tried to fight back, being larger in size, but Robert had one terrifying and clear goal: to kill. He stabbed Fabio to death, then began erasing evidence. They escaped in a Porsche, which they abandoned that same night, trying to eliminate all traces. But the car was stained with blood, and DNA testing confirmed it belonged to Robert. There was no way Robert could escape responsibility for this horrific crime. But the questions remained: was he telling the full truth? Were he and Chris the only ones involved? And was Monica aware? On the day of Fabio's death, Monica and Robert exchanged 95 encrypted messages over Viber. That same night, Robert deleted the app and all its contents. When police asked Monica for her phone passcode, she claimed she forgot it. That might be believable under shock, except her passcode was Robert's birthday. Monica even introduced herself later as Monica Baker instead of Monica Sementilli, saying it was easier to pronounce. She appeared to be planning a new life, possibly buying a house in Las Vegas, using Fabio's life insurance money. In February, police put Monica and Robert under surveillance. They followed them to a bar where they were seen kissing in public, just a month after Fabio's murder. Clear proof Monica was not a grieving widow. Even more shocking, on the day of the murder, Monica met Robert in the Target parking lot before going into the store. Surveillance showed her glued to her phone, monitoring her home's security cameras, awaiting news of the murder she had allegedly set in motion. In August, police arrested Monica and Robert together, in a sting operation meant to record anything they might say to each other in custody. They behaved like criminal lovers avoiding their fate, even continuing their relationship inside jail. Robert later claimed Monica was not innocent. She wasn't simply unaware, she was the mastermind. Even though Monica was arrested for her husband's murder, it was hard to believe she knew he had been killed. She and Robert tried to justify the presence of his blood in Monica's home by claiming that she had injured her hand while playing racquetball and used his shirt to clean it. But this explanation didn't account for the blood found in Fabio's car. The truth began to unravel gradually. Police discovered an email Monica had sent to Robert in June 2016, which included login credentials for the home security system. This raised suspicions that she had helped him locate and remove the security recorder on the day of the crime, to destroy the evidence. Monica was not an innocent witness. She was a key accomplice and the instigator of this horrific crime. For months, the police searched for the second man seen on surveillance footage wearing a hood. At first, they suspected Eli Birdsong, a friend of Robert's from Texas, but he had a solid alibi. Eventually, in October 2017, they identified Chris Austin. The police linked Chris to Robert through phone records and bank transactions. When arrested, Chris pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and personally using a knife, in exchange for testifying against Robert and Monica. Chris revealed that Robert had contacted him in December 2016, trying to recruit him from Alaska. Robert told him they would gain financially from the act, and that the case involved Monica and Fabio. The motive behind the crime wasn't jealousy, but money, and Monica's growing hatred toward her husband. Robert had told Chris that Monica claimed Fabio abused her, but after the murder, Robert changed his story and said her real motive was the life insurance money. Chris also exposed Robert's lies about the crime's details. He said that Fabio didn't even get a chance to defend himself from the attack. He confirmed that Robert had been in constant contact with Monica on the day of the murder, and that the two had planned it together. In the weeks after the murder, Monica searched Google for, "Can police tap a mobile phone?" A clear sign of guilt and her greed for the money she hadn't received, as police had intervened to stop the insurance payout. Monica had removed her children from the house, tampered with the security system, and informed Robert of her husband's whereabouts. But it was all in vain. After Chris confessed, the evidence started to collapse. Robert also pleaded guilty, but refused to testify against Monica, claiming he acted alone to protect her. Robert was called as a defense witness at Monica's trial. But his own conviction became a weapon against her. He had already been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, so he had nothing to lose. Prosecutors argued that no punishment could stop him from lying under oath to save her, but his deceptions failed in court. It remains unclear whether charges will be brought against Eli Birdsong, but 3 conspirators are now facing justice. Robert, sentenced to life without parole. Chris and Monica, both awaiting sentencing. They had conspired together to kill Fabio Sementilli, a charismatic professional, a loving father, whose murder destroyed an entire family. His children are still trying to rebuild their lives. His daughter Isabella has followed in his footsteps and become a hairstylist in Hollywood. What are your thoughts on this heartbreaking story? Share your opinion in the comments. Until next time.